What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the AM, guys. Welcome back to 5 Minute Rants. I'm your host, Michael Abernathy, and welcome to the show predicated on the journey of life and business. And real quick, guys, if you don't know, if you're new to the show, the whole purpose of the show is to document the current journey and the past journey, what got us here, and then how we're moving into the future in entrepreneurship and in business, which seems, the principles for this seem to actually spread to every other area of life, including family, including friends, and everything else that I've done and am doing. And before I even get into this too, real quick, if you're two different people, you're a different person at work than you're at home, you might need to consider what you're doing, because you should be the same man or woman no matter where you go, behind closed doors or open doors. And actually, I am going to stop and talk about this for a little bit, because I think this is very important. So I'm not saying that there are certain tactics or that there are certain principles that you have to follow as a leader at work that you don't do with your family, right? But I think there are also universal principles that apply across both. There are universal principles that apply to actually your job and your household, to your marriage, to your partnerships, everywhere across the board, because what happens is the person who's always behind closed doors, the man who is behind that closed door, he always comes out. That door never stays shut and cannot stay shut. And if you've noticed, if you've ever worked a job where you've walked into the job and it seems like everything is amazing, and then before you know it, it's like the switch has been flipped and now you're in a nightmare position. I've worked jobs like that. I've been a part of jobs like that. And it's like, why? Because whatever is behind the mask always comes out. Now, I'm not saying at work there are different timings and there are different metrics and there are different actions that need to be taken in different things versus in the household, right? Oftentimes it's a timing issue. There's a time for peace, there's a time for war, there's a time for sleep, there's a time to wake up, there's a time to work, there's a time to relax, there's a time to celebrate and rejoice, there's a time to cry, there's a time to eat, there's a time to fast. A lot of things in life are simply we do them wrongly because we mistime them, and that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when I have two different personas, and if I have two different personas, one for work and one for my household, I am probably doing something wrong because it's broken. And if I look at that, I've actually physically fragmented my personality to function in two different areas in two different ways, and that seems to be unhealthy. The goal is to be the same man that I am behind closed doors that I am in open doors, because if I'm only honest when I'm in front of people, am I really honest? If I'm only loving and caring and compassionate when I'm in front of other people, am I really only loving, caring, and compassionate? Am I really those things? If I'm very hard in terms of not quitting, if I'm very disciplined only in front of other people, am I really disciplined? If I'm only value truth while being in front of people, am I actually in love with the truth? Do I want those things? And that is what I'm talking about. And this is really self-reflection. One of the most important aspects, one of the absolute most important aspects about business and about life is knowing who you are, self-awareness. Who are you? What are your faults? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? And to go through and know who you are. What is my personality like? What drives me? What propels me and moves me forward? Why do I make decisions the way I do? What is the process and the framework that I have internally that I use to make decisions? Am I an emotional decision maker? Am I a logical decision maker? How do I process and work? How do I navigate life? And the only way to really understand these things is to know yourself. And here's the biggest thing. Oftentimes we find, and oftentimes I have found, that the man behind the door doesn't always line up with the man out in front of everybody. And if that's the case, I'm broken in that area of life and need to get healed and need to move forward. And then purpose to be the man behind closed doors. Because I'm telling you what, the most important things in life occur behind closed doors when nobody's looking. The most important moments and decisions happen when nobody's looking. I've said I'm never going to cheat on my wife. I do not want to do that. I'm not going to go down that path. The marriage and the partnership I have is worth too much to risk. But if that opportunity ever arises, it's not going to be in front of my friends and it's not going to be in front of my wife. It's going to be behind a closed door. And so the moment of testing to really see what type of person and what type of man I'm going to be happens behind closed doors. It's the same for business. If you're the boss, you don't have anybody looking over your shoulder what to do. And so what type of man are you or woman or leader behind that closed door when nobody's looking? And that's really when it matters. When you do it for you first, it trickles down to everybody else. Well, guys, that wasn't the episode for today that I had planned, but I think it's really important to talk about. I'm way over. I'll catch you later. Peace.